Hello, Matt here from RetroOnly.com. Today we will be talking about how to play two players on the Atari Flashback. Before we dive into this video, be sure and click the like and subscribe buttons below. Do you own an Atari Flashback but cannot get the second controller to work properly? Maybe you and your friends always wanted to play a two-player game, but for some reason it just won't work. Well, I have some good news for you. If you keep watching, you will be able to fix this problem quite easily. So how do two players play with Atari Flashback controllers? All you need to do is follow these simple steps. Number 1, turn on your console. Number 2, load the game you're wanting to play. Number 3, hit the button that says Game Select until you find the game's two players option. Now that you know how to play two players in a game, you may want to keep watching to learn how to play certain games or even learn the history of the original Atari. With the latest 4K graphics, HDR, and virtual reality-based games, nothing can quite compare to the addiction of a retro game. Retro games are still ranking at the top of many people's lists and reaching the height of success, but it is also because of new flashback systems of the original consoles like the Atari. How to play two players on Atari Flashback controllers. Do you love playing games with your partner, sibling, or friend? Who doesn't enjoy spending time with their friends and playing video games? The Atari Flashback's games gives you access to play together with your friends using the same console box but with two different controllers. In the newest Atari Flashback box, you will get two Atari wireless controllers. They are square-shaped and have a central joystick and a single red button on the top left corner. If we compare these controllers to the original controllers, you will find out that although they may look similar, the joystick is actually removable for easy transportation and storage. The rest of the system has a sleek and modern design to it while still looking similar to the original Atari. With the Atari Flashback, two players can easily play games, but there are some games that are only one player. Most of the Atari 2600 games are not too difficult to figure out, which is one of the best things about the Flashback system. Although you can easily play the games by reading the instructions, we should warn you that the instructions are not really that brief. Because of that, we will help you know which games you can play with two players. Most of the Atari Flashback games are just rapid fire, meaning they are here you are, plugged in, and here you go type of game. Although most of the Atari games are for two players, you can also select one player if you want to. However, you can even play combat and air-sea battle with two players if you choose. The Atari Flashback Classic Game Console was released at a very cost-effective price and included an incredible amount of many different games for how cheap the console was. So what is on the Atari Flashback? The Atari Flashback features 120 incredible Atari 2600 games, depending on which Atari Flashback you're looking at. The Atari Flashback's improved software is stepping up from Centipede to Space Invaders to Frogger and creating a benchmark in the gaming field. You'll get a great selection of the top hits of Activision with the purchase of this Flashback console. One of the biggest supporters of Activision gave Pitfall, Kaboom, and River Raid to Atari. The Atari Flashback comes with different items than the original Atari, and that is something that a lot of gamers love about the console. The Atari Flashback comes with an instruction manual, an elegant, authentic, miniaturized Atari 2600 console, two high-performance 2.4 GHz wireless controllers, an HDMI cable, and an AC adapter. Gamers everywhere are excited about the Atari Flashback coming with these different things, especially the wireless controllers. The Atari Flashback can be connected to the TV very easily. All you will need to do is to attach the right wires in the correct ports to plug it in and get going. You will want to make sure that you have put batteries in your controllers before you try and connect them to the box, or they won't work. The game allows two controllers to easily be attached, so two people can play all the two-player games this Flashback has to offer. But how can two-player games on the Atari be beneficial to you? Built-in Atari games will not let you slow down for even a second. However, too much screen time can put a strain on your eyes. We have found that the best time to play your video games is in the morning or afternoon. You should never play any video games in a dark room, even though you may think it is a good idea. Although you may let your kids play the Atari Flashback console, it will likely challenge them and make them think and use their brain. Allowing them to play consoles like this can even increase their mental level. It will even allow them to be a better strategy analyst. By playing video games on the Atari Flashback, some people have even said that one could become more of a fighter than a loser. If you do allow your kids to play the Atari Flashback, we would recommend that you set a time limit for your kids to play these games. This is because we have found that the games on this system are so addictive that without strict rules, they may become addicted to playing these video games and stop taking care of their responsibilities. Also, it can help you not to have to yell at them all the time for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. By playing together on a two-player game with two different controllers, your kids will most likely evaluate their strengths and weaknesses better. They will be able to learn how they are performing versus one another, what mistakes they made, how they stumble upon something, and what they should not do in the future. And these are just some of the things that you can benefit from when playing with two players on an Atari. Conclusion. As you can most likely see, the Atari Flashback brings back the old school video games in this fast-moving era. People of the 80s that grew up playing these video games are likely still in love with them today. It's additionally stunning to see that more classic games are being brought back for a different age of gamers to learn how to play. The best part about the Atari Flashback is if you play alone or with your friends, you are able to play the old retro games, but with brand new technology that makes playing them much easier. There are no more cords being pulled around as everything is wireless, and you don't have to worry about finding adapters for your flat screen because the game system even utilizes HDMI. If you love the classic games, then you will definitely love the Atari Flashback, and will probably love all 120 games that come with this console. This has been Matt from RetroOnly.com. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.